Welcome everyone to the Law of Attraction Meetup Group. How many people are brand new today? Holy moly. Five, I guess. That's a lot. So what brought you? Was it the topic today? Okay, good. So the topic today is changing your past and parallel universes. So, but I wanted to ask the folks that were here last week, did y'all do your homework?
I started, but I didn't.
Okay.
Got sidetracked.
Well, we did a little thing last week, which was imagine your best life. And then I suggested that, you might try to, when you got home or sometime during the week, to imagine a better life than your best life. So I would encourage that. That is a very powerful thing, because your imagination is really what creates your world, your reflection. But let's get to what law of attraction is. And is everyone familiar with law of attraction? Anyone not? Okay, good. So let's review that though, just to make sure. So the formula, according to some of the people out there, is ask and it's given, and then vibrationally line up with it, right? So that sounds like it's pretty easy, doesn't it? Well, yeah, it is pretty easy, because you're asking all day. That's already done. There's nothing for you to do when it's given. The universe is giving it to you. So you ask from contrast, the universe delivers, and then you say, where is it? Does that sound right? Well, where's my stuff? And where's my soulmate? Where are my relationships? Where's my physical body that I asked for? Where's my health? Well, that's the wrong question, because now you're approaching it from a point of view of not having. So you're lining up perfectly with not having that thing, or that relationship, or that physical body, or what have you. So then your physical mind starts asking the question of, well, how do I get this stuff and these things? Can you all relate to that? Have you heard of Mike Dooley? He puts out a little thing called Thoughts from the Universe. He talks about, don't get caught up in the dreaded hows, because your physical mind is not designed to come up with the how to get those things that you can imagine. It's only there to help you create the visualization. So who is going to take care of the house, right? Who's going to make this stuff happen for me? Who is going to do this so that I can see the path to being able to achieve these things? Well, you are, but not the physical mind you, the much larger vibrational you that extends out to the far reaches of the universe and beyond. So we're just a small fraction of that vibrational output, or that vibrational entity known as you. So the physical mind's been taught to believe that it's in control, and that it needs to come up with all of the ideas and the hows and how to make things happen. But it's not. And as a matter of fact, it kind of knows it's not. It really knows that it's really just there for the visualizations and, you know, kind of the light job. And I call the physical mind and I hope I don't have any in here, union worker that has a specific duty and is paid for that specific job. And then when it's assigned to figuring out all these hows, it's saying, wait, this is not my job. I don't get paid for this job. I'm not set up for this job. I'm not approved for this job. This is not my job. So then it gets loaded down and it tries to do the job, but it can't because it's not capable of doing the job. And then it starts to get angry and rebel, and then you fall into victimization mode where your physical mind is attempting to create these things for you, but it just simply doesn't have the bandwidth. It's just not that smart. So the formula, again, is ask, it's given, and then line up with it. It's not figure out how to get it done. It's not take this step, that step, this step, and that step, and then you're going to get there. It's more like, let's see what shows up next that will take us to that destination. It's like a ship going from New York to London, a steamship or a cruise ship. That cruise ship is going to be off course about 95% of the time, but it's heading in that direction. So it's going to go back and forth a little bit, you know, along the line of a straight line from New York to London, but it's going to be off this way, that way, this way, that way, but it's going to get there. And that's kind of the way we should approach our lives as well. We're not going to necessarily see London right out off the bat, which is the goal or the objective. We're going to set out on a course pointed in that general direction, keeping our compass, which is our emotional feedback loop, attuned to being on the right course. As soon as we feel off, we're off. That's what that's about. We're not lined up with our bigger vibrational selves. So the trap that we typically fall into is, where is everything? Where's my stuff? And all that. So are we all in agreement? That was a question. A real question. Yeah, pretty much? Okay. So, parallel universes. Who's familiar with parallel universes? All right, most everybody. So here's a universe, right? Here's a parallel universe, and here's a parallel universe, and here's a parallel universe, and another one, and another one, and another one. So they're just here, and we're quantum jumping is the term, you know, you've probably heard of. You don't need a course in quantum jumping. You're doing it now. And you're doing it now. That's quantum leaping, quantum jumping, whatever you want to call it. The thing that you probably need a course in is recognizing and realizing that you can determine, and you are determining, which parallel universe you're jumping into. Are y'all with me so far?
So what's the universe? The parallel universe?
What is it?
Our universe is Milky Way, right? Or is that our galaxy? That's our galaxy.
Let's think more in terms of vibration. Great question. So the question was, what's our universe? Milky Way, galaxy, universe, whatever. It's more like there's about a zillion, billion, unlimited number of Milky Way galaxies and corresponding universes that go with it. So, but they're all slightly different, vibrationally speaking. So if we go back to our reference point of no time, so there's no time. Time does not exist. So that means everything that is exists in this moment. And so we're just jumping from this event vibrationally to the next event vibrationally, and to the next one, and to the next one, to create the illusion of time and motion. And we do that, with our conscious thought and our subconscious thought. Frankly, most of it's done below the conscious level because we're just aware of a certain amount of information. So vibrationally, we just tune in vibrationally and line up with the next event. Did that answer your question?
No.
No, not really? So, okay. This is a universe, and then I move my hand to here, and that's a different universe. Let's say that's the only thing that changed, was that movement. That's a completely brand new, different universe. So one other thing changes. You breathe a little bit in. That's a different universe. A molecule changes. An electron moves from here to there. That's a whole other universe. So for our minds to capture and understand that is, I would say, virtually impossible for us to get the depth of what is out there and available. But just know that that's what it is. It's just the parallel universe.
So why is that important to know?
Say that again?
Why is that important to know? What implications does that have?
Why is that important to know? That is important to know because it gives you for me at least, it gives me the basis for understanding why I can go and change my past. And why vibrationally things are possible. Because if we're stuck in what we think is a linear time world mentally, then we're not going to believe that changing our past is even possible. How is that possible? Our past is our past, right? Isn't it? Isn't it?
Yes. Feels like it.
Yeah, sort of. It can be. But see, if we're sitting here in the middle of a universe that's vibrationally based, and it's all created kind of brand new for us right now, and there's unlimited number of options for us to choose from, and the only thing that really changes is what we think and how we line up with it, is to what shows up in front of us next. That's called free will. Then that opens up to, for me, a whole avenue of like, holy crap, everything is possible. Anything is possible. Because we're not really stuck in a vibrational, physical universe that goes from point A to point B, linear time, and cause and effect. And if we did this, this is what's going to happen. If we do that, that's what's going to happen. Because none of that makes any difference unless we believe it does. Unless it's part of our belief systems. Because that's what controls everything. That's why that's important to me, to understand, oh, okay, so we've got a framework to work with that really is defined by, the framework itself is defined by us individually. And I'm talking about everything that we see around us. So, yes, ma'am.
So is this a continuation of your teaching from the day that, the day you said to all of us, now pull out your notebooks and everybody write down, you are the masters of time and space?
Correct.
This is part of that.
It's all part of that.
That ordinary, sequential, linear conceptualizations of time and space are way limited, and that you're trying to help us see possibilities beyond anything we've considered.
Right.
Ordinary thinking.
Exactly. And thanks for saying that. So I had suggested that everyone get out a piece of paper and write down, I am a master of time and space. I am is a very powerful beginning. It goes to the source of who you are. And your vibrational insides below your conscious level are going to recognize that as truth and knowing. So you're going to start to utilize that, start to work on that inside. And then if you start experimenting with time and space yourself, then you'll start to say, wow, I thought this and this showed up. And then you start to add to your belief systems. You say, wow, this, if I think this, then I'm going to get that, which lines up perfectly. So the more you do that, the more you add to your belief systems, the more you say, oh, a belief is a thought you continue to think. And that is a framework that creates subconsciously all that you see. And that's all it is. It is us creating our own frameworks, because we are not just these physical bodies. This is a small fraction of our larger selves that extends out much, well, to infinity. And then that's where all of our intelligence is. We're not thinking so much. We're just downloading thoughts. This brain here is a receiver and a transmitter, and that's about it. The heart, actually, scientists are showing up and saying, hey, the heart has more neural tissue in it than your brain does. So your heart's smarter than your brain. At least in terms of emotion and understanding where you are, where you're in relationship to your physical body and your larger vibrational body. So who cares about all this, really? You know, I mean, does it really matter? Not too much. What matters is, how do I feel better and how do I get a better life out of all of it, right? Exactly. So all you need to do is stay really attuned to how you feel about the next thing that shows up. And recognize that that's just a reflection of your inner vibrational output. So you have a reflection that shows up and then you react to it. And we'll say positively or negatively. And so you react to it positively, you say, wow, I like that. So you bring that in, that's a thought, it creates an emotional output vibration, and then you reflect back the same thing or better. And then you start saying, wow, this is really great. How do I get more? And then you're on a kind of a feedback loop of really good stuff. And that's what we want to do. And what that's doing is you're just bouncing into the next vibrational universe that lines up with your vibrational output. So when you do that, think of yourself in the middle of a whole bunch of events in a three-dimensional sphere, if you will. And as soon as you change the thought, you rotate a little bit. So that means you're going to go future-wise this way instead of, you change your thought to that, so you're going that way now instead of this way. But the thing to recognize is not only when you rotate did you change your future path, you changed your past path as well. So you, in this moment, you're the person that had this thought instead of that thought. You're the person that had this past instead of that past, because let's say you, in this moment, you stopped a habit that you don't like. Somebody give me a habit. Smoking. Okay. You stop smoking. In this moment, you stop smoking. Now, what's really interesting, for me at least, is that from this moment when you stop smoking, you're the guy or the gal that never smoked. Your past, you never smoked. Because you're creating a brand new you from this brand new universe. Okay, now, that's doing it in this moment. So what if it's always in this moment, because that's all there is. So now, how do you change your past kind of consciously? You go back and you find an event, or you find a string of events, or you find your whole past, and you say, wow, I'd like to change that one particular event back when I was 19. And if I had changed that one event when I was 19, there would have been a rotation that would happen. And then instead of doing this, I would have done that, and that. And then use your imagination to create that in the now. And then watch what starts to show up around you in the next moments. Because you're not only going back and changing that past, you're doing it in the moment. Everything's in the moment. Everything's in the present. So even your past that you bring into the present is only what your belief systems are bringing into here and now. So you have a fresh, clean slate to work with right now. So now, the idea of that is to realize how much power you have. Now, me just saying it, sitting here saying it and talking about it and giving you these ideas will not teach you anything at all. It's just like, whatever. And by the way, feel free to believe whatever you wish. And feel free to sort through anything that I'm saying, and if it lines up with what you believe, great. If it doesn't, get rid of it. I'm not here with a particular agenda. It doesn't matter to me if you change your past. The only thing I'm hoping to get is to implant some new ideas in your head, and you walk out of here and you say, wow, that really is interesting enough for me to, let me just try it and see what happens. Let me experiment with this and see if, through my own thinking and my free will, I can come up with a different reflection in the next moment. For you to try it. That's it. Just try it. And see what happens. What do you have to lose? You lose some constraints around what you believe is possible or maybe more important. What's not possible? You get rid of some of the stuff that you think is not possible. I can tell you, I have been in a room where there was a particular viewpoint that was being held by most of the people in the room, and I had a viewpoint that was different than that viewpoint. And I was kind of arguing about it, both outside and internally. And then I said, what difference does it make, really? And so I just let it go. I said, whatever, I don't really care. I just said, whatever, happens, just happens. And then I watched the entire room change. And I said, hey, did you see that? And of course they didn't, because I had bounced into another universe. I didn't understand all that then. she was already there with that viewpoint that you're holding, that she's holding right now. I was the only thing that changed in that whole room. And then I said, I didn't do that because I knew that was a ridiculous question. But I said, wow. And then I started, researching and digging in to try to figure out why that was. And I realized that after a while, I realized that this is all a mirror out here to me. So, and there's two vibrational points of view on the vibrational stick, if you will, of, let's say, abundance and lack. Let's just go with that one. So if I have a belief in abundance, then there's a corresponding equalizing vibration of lack. So I'm in abundance, but there's an equal vibration of lack out there to keep the universe balanced vibrationally. So here's the interesting part. I'm supplying the energy for both of those. So if I'm there focused on the abundance, then also there's an equal vibration of lack there for me to pick from if I wish. Now the minute I withdraw my energy from either one of those, they both disappear. It's like what we talked about last week, where you cannot win from a belief. You cannot win a belief argument with yourself. And the idea there last week was self-worth. So if we have a self-worth issue, or let's say we have a low self-worth issue, belief system, which I think all of us on the planet do, almost all, maybe Donald Trump doesn't have that. He does, but it's just somewhere else. So I was watching this on YouTube, and the guy said, you cannot win from a belief. So what you have to do is say, yes. You have to say, yes, I do have self-worth issues, or you might even go so far as to say, I am unworthy. Now what happens just within this vibrational realm, this vibrational tone, and you've got an underlying in here self-worth issue, you just say, and you might even recognize that you have a little vibrational discord going on within your body. And you say to yourself, wow, I see this vibrational discord. And then you say, you know what, you're right. I am unworthy. I do have self-worth issues. I'm not always good enough. I'm not always as committed as I think I could be. I'm not always putting my 100% effort into it. I do have some worth issues. Now, as soon as I did that, what happened was, now that vibrational balancing act that was going on, there was no resistance to this self-worth issue. I let go of resistance by saying, yes, you're right. You've always been right. I do have self-worth issues. And as soon as that happened, this energy was gone. So that energy disappeared. It's a way to clear vibrational blockages. So that's the same thing that's going on with everything that's showing up in your life. You have a vibrational stick to choose from. If you're showing up with lack, there's an equal vibration of abundance over here. So if you're experiencing a huge abundance of lack, then you should be really happy, because on that vibrational stick that you've created, you have a huge abundance of lack over here, which means you have a huge amount of an abundance over here, just waiting for you to line up with this.
Is that considered your parallel universe?
That's a really good question. Yes, it could be. Yeah. And there's unlimited numbers of parallel universes, so there's just unbelievable amount of opportunities for you to choose from. So let's open this up for discussion.
So I didn't understand if you have a choice between abundance, focusing on abundance and scarcity.
Right.
And you choose, like we would all want to choose abundance.
Yeah.
Then when you said they both disappear, I didn't understand that.
Well, if you take all of your, now that's in relation to clearing a vibrational blockage. So you've got this belief system within here of lack, for example. And you say, wow, you're right, I feel like I must deserve this lack. And you agree with that vibrational stance. So just on this level, on that one point, you've agreed that that you're holding on to lack. So now there's no more vibrational creation there on that level. So both of those disappear for you. And then that gives you a chance. So what you'll actually automatically do is bounce up to another vibrational level. So that's for clearing things that are holding you back, clearing that vibrational discord. Did that answer your question?
What do you mean accepting that you're the one who is focusing on lack?
Correct.
Frees you from having to focus on lack.
That's correct.
Okay.
Freeing you, but really more important, it's the releasing of resistance. Because all of the abundance and everything you ever wanted is already coming to you now. The only reason you don't have it is you're resisting it. Maybe from a belief system of unworthiness, or a belief system you must experience lack in order to get to abundance. Something like that. It's all there. Everything exists in the moment. Everything. So what does this all mean to you to create a better life? Look at the mirror. Look at everything that shows up around you. If you like it, focus on that. If it feels good, focus on that. If it doesn't feel good, don't focus on it. Now here's really where we get caught up. We get that emotional response to that thing or that situation that doesn't feel good, and we feel that, and that kind of gets stuck in our gut. And even though we see something that might look better, we're going to come back, yeah, but where's